Hello everyone, welcome back. You're not seeing things, this is real. I have streamed for the second time in 1 year. Madness, I know. First thing I've got to do is give a shout out to all the new follows, and then I'll explain what we're doing here for anybody that's new. Ncling, thank you for the follow. It's only been a year and a half of streaming, that's fine. Cavav, Hope June, Refrigerex, Rabasco, One, and Error Alarm, thank you for the resub. I really appreciate it, mate. We're on for game 2 today of a Bite to Battles tournament that is going to go on for a couple of weekends from now that will culminate into a grand final. Most of you already know this. If there are anybody that's new, that's coming in and watching, don't worry, we're going to cover everything from the picking of the teams, the playing of the early game, all the way to the very end of the game. And today, what's quite special about today's game is we are going to witness a difficulty mode that we don't see often played in Captain's games, most notably because it denotes that we're going to be playing quite a quick game. So both captains, Neuro and Ncling, have got to figure out a decent way of playing this one out. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Just before we get started, I'm going to go and grab some water. Obviously, a lot of you guys know the pick phase and the ban phase normally takes a couple of minutes. So we have a couple of minutes now just to kind of gather ourselves before the game begins. And obviously we're going to then have a look at the map, see what map we've decided on, and go through all the different kind of parameters that will dictate as to whether or not this game will be easy or hard. But for those of you joining me, thank you. I hope you're having a good weekend. There is a game today. I do believe there also is a game tomorrow. I'll be casting both. So yeah, hopefully we're on for 2 very strong games. But I'll be back in 2 minutes. I just need to go and top up some water and get something to eat. I need a snack for this one. It's going to be good, but it's going to be, yeah. It's going to be tough, man. Like, both of these captains are going to have a really difficult time. Alright, I am back. Again, sorry for the slight delay. We do have some kind of grace period at the beginning of the game to kind of gather ourselves. Today's captains will be Neuro and Ncling. Neuro is obviously the man who runs, maintains, and whose server this is his baby. And Ncling is playing around about 4 o'clock in the morning his time. I shit you not, this man will play anyone, anytime, anywhere, and he might beat you. Now just imagine that. You're playing a sleep-deprived Malaysian man who at 4 o'clock in the morning has decided the only thing he wants to do is detonate your chances of winning any kind of video game. And I say, fair play to that. I say massively fair play to that. You know, he's channeling his inner Michael Jordan, you know. There is a game on, I could win it. Somebody else wants to fight against me, well, I take that shit personally. So, for any of you new, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We are looking at this map being the one that we have decided on, it looks like. I don't think we're going to be rolling for maps anymore. For any of you who doesn't know, the map is different every time. The map is also split down the middle by this unpassable river or ocean, depending on who you ask. And the game will take place either on the north, if you're on the north theme, or the south, if you're on the south theme, where both ore patches are reflected across the river. So basically you're playing a reflected version of the map. Nothing new there. We know this as battle players. What we will be interested in is to see where uranium ore is. The difficulty being normal as well. I mean, how deep are we even thinking we're going to go here? Are we thinking it's got to be some kind of rush, right? There's got to be some spam here. I don't think we're going to be seeing a major, massive, long-term game. I believe if you're in the south, you've pretty much already won the game. So, but not a lot of people in the lobby. Purple is a good shout. I do like the idea of purple. I think you could potentially get away, maybe, with weaponizing a mix patch. I mean, look at this. This is dangerous out here. And going for like a military spam? Maybe? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It depends really on kind of who plays what positions and which team consists of which players. But, I mean, purple's ambitious. And if both teams play correctly, we can end up a purple very fast. So, in my estimation, what are we thinking? I would play this as a military spam with ambition to go beyond military. Obviously hit blue and then go to purple or yellow. But if the game is only going to be about 1 hour, 1.5 hours long, I would prioritize threat farming for sure. I'd send a couple of people down to threat farm, maybe 2 to 3. If my team is about 15 people to 20 people, I'd send 2 to 3 south to threat farm or north to threat farm. I would take one major outpost to spam green or red-green, just slowly push up the threat. And then just build out and try and get to a deeper, later science. I mean, it can't be much more than that, right? You can't really achieve much more than that. I might be wrong. But, yeah, we'll see how we go. Obviously, each captain has different ways of playing. There are different philosophies within the game as to how you win. And so I'm just outlining what I would do potentially. But there is, I mean, Jesus, that's a lot of oil as well. Holy. We're not going to see any rockets today. I would be shocked, absolutely shocked, if we saw any level of rocketry in this game. Ask the questions that need to be asked so we know roughly what time it is that we will get this going. Obviously there's always a little bit of a delay, but this map looks good. Neuro up north, Ncling down south. Nkling's already won, obviously. And we've got a decent amount of oh no. One of our captains is being dropped from the game. This is not a good sign to begin with. Gotta kick everybody off the internet, mate. Get everyone off Netflix. Get them off of other streaming platforms are available, obviously. Sticklord saying the... Okay, right. Carl goes north. A French-German connection. Carl being obviously a very strong outposter. Pavev being a tournament-winning speedrunner. Interesting from south. I like Nkling's picks already. As he drops all of his all of his miners, and then continues to reconnect to the game. Is this a bug? Is he cheating? He's not cheating. But yeah, Cog, Pav, and Ncling up north. Carl and Neuro. So, I mean, obviously Ncling is a main base player. He has a blueprint for main. Is incredibly strong. He takes Blitzy as well. No, Blitzy is just mousing over. Okay, got you going. I think Blitzy's Nitsy pick, an interesting pick early. I'd probably pick them like 3rd round, 4th round. We have here 3 strong captains in their own right that can all play the different way. I would say like Pavev's a good support player, Cog's a good outposter, can also do main as well. Ncling is definitely a main base player. We're not seeing anything from Ncling outside of main base. Beyond that, you know, we've got like Bogler that can outpost. We've got Jimmy 50 here. I mean, I would grab that guy just for the pure speed of the stuff, right? Cogito's a great player. Pipes is here. Red Rave's here. Q-Crat. I'm sure Fedek is somewhere in and around here. The Soldiers here. This is going to be a good game. We have some very strong players here. Very, very strong players. Max 100, Vortex. Zero Sun as well. I mean, I'd grab him early, dude. Grab a Zero Sun to threat farm. Serious. Grab him like ASAP. Because everybody else can build. Everyone else can build, right? So here we go. Jimmy 50 goes north. Sticklord goes north as well. So Pavev has to make a decision now. He's got some main base builders. He has some potential outposters. I would argue that sweeping up a strong threat farming team now, if you have 2 picks. North have just had 2, so I'm assuming South have 2. I would grab someone like Zero Sun, and I would grab somebody like Bogler, right? Bogler can outpost, Zero Sun can go south and threat farm, and then just ask Zero Sun, who do you want with you? Tell me who your picks are, and if you want Jumbo Billy Bob with you, I'll grab him. You know, if you want Blitzy with you, I'll grab him. You know, that, like, tell me who you need to make your job work, and we'll make that happen. Beyond that, though, there's some really strong players here. Banana's incredibly strong, Soldier. Yeah, a couple of new names that I don't recognize, but that's fine because I've been away for a while. As you know, it's a rare occurrence I stream more than once a year, but here it is. And yeah, I mean, in terms of outposts, you're kind of sport for choice here. I would argue that probably East is better in my mind anyway, just through a cursory look. As everybody who's stream sniping is currently now staring at exactly what I'm looking at. So thanks for outing yourself there, boys. Yeah, tons of copper, tons of iron, lots of coal, and tons of... I mean, this spot literally right here, perfect for an outpost, or just north of that. You could potentially weaponize this mixed patch, but again, look, iron, copper, coal. We're missing stone. You can pipe stone in from here, I guess. Yeah, decent outpost location. Coincidentally, out here too, you know, you have a really large iron, copper, stone. This is good as well to a point. I mean, there's no bad choices here unless you go really far out, right? I mean, the further out you go... Soldier goes south. This is a team of captains. This is actually a team of captains. Wu gets picked. That's an interesting play. I will follow you like a hawk this game, Blitzy. Zero mistake game. So yeah, Lingers really prioritized picking strong leadership, whereas like, it looks like North, Neuro's gone for a couple of outposters here. Jimmy will go main base, Neuro will probably fill, and then you've got Bogler, Sticklord, Carl, and Califer for a potential 4-person outpost, which again is incredibly strong. All you'd really need to do now on North is just stabilize your main base with a couple of like support players, people that can just help fill roles, and you're good. You know, you're Gucci. I can't imagine it being too much of an issue for North to get that going. Meanwhile, on the South, I don't see a lot of outpost potential, other than if Pipes gets matched up with a couple of his outpost friends. So yeah, these are S-tier teams, dude. These are the very best of the best, right? On both teams, we have multiple captain winners, and again, Zero Sun got missed. I'm really worried about that now. Zero Sun could have gone south, and they've opted for Joshua as well. Now, Joshua, as far as I'm aware, can threat farm. In terms of priority order, Zero Sun would have been up there for me. You have everything you need here to kind of make your base work. But what you're missing is that offensive element. Now, it depends, because you might not prioritize that offensive element anyway. You might turn around and say, well, this is an aggressive game mode. We don't need to threat farm. We just need to beat them to throwing science. We need to beat them and be quick. And you certainly have a team on South here to do that. But I don't know what Ling's going for here. But then he does play a lot. So I'm sure that he has some kind of level of strategy here that we're not going to know straight away off the bat, but down the line will certainly come into play, come into view. I will stick a prediction up down the line. I just want to see how these teams pan out. At the moment, if I had to put my money on a team, I mean, off the bat, I notice and recognize more northern players than I do southern, although I do recognize South have some incredibly strong players here too. With a few, Proxy Stills come in, Cliff, Just Bob, Q-Crap, but there's so much good stuff here. And then Blissey. So yeah. I know, it looks to me like people are looking out for a good outpost spot, and this, you can't ignore this, right? Bogler's onto something here. This has potential, this enormous mix patch. 20 million I mean, if you can weaponize something this large, you win the game. I'm telling you now. The person that eventually manages to wrangle these correctly and organize and split and divide all correctly, you've won. You've won the game. You can enter any game of Biter Battles with that specific splitter that you design that hasn't been made yet, because it's impossible to do it properly. Or sorry, it's not impossible, it just takes a level of math and planning and skill that I just don't have the time for. Maybe if I was a younger man I would, but I don't necessarily need that to win a game. But I'm telling you now, if you're new, I did promise you a breakthrough, and I have got some ideas. I've been cooking it up. In the lab. It's just, it's hard to stop a dominant ore from appearing on a belt. You need to split multiple times before and then reintegrate. So, do I draw it on screen for us now? Do I draw this on screen? I mean, yeah, let me try and draw this for you. I'll see if I can just annotate the map in a way which makes sense. So let's get my tools out. Since we're waiting for the teams to be picked, that's the reason I'm doing this, is we have some time here to spare. Let's say, for instance, all of your ore is coming this way, right? You've somehow managed to put loads of stuff into this area, miners and belts and stuff, and you want all of your ore to come across this yellow arrow and then eventually get processed to go into a stack that creates items to the north. That's a great idea. You should do that. The problem is that you have so many different ores coming into one belt that it clogs everything up, and then eventually your throughput is small. See how tiny that arrow is? It's so small. Hi Mike, how's it going, mate? Hey mate, I'm happy to cast. I'm actually a player of this game as well, so I will be doing some kind of... Oh damn. Mike, you don't need to do that, mate. I hugely appreciate it though. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. For anybody that was just gifted a sub, please say thank you to Mike. I really appreciate it, my friend. And thank you for the follow as well. I'm just going to go through some really nerdy throughput stuff that somebody asked for, and then we'll get through some of the kind of early game stuff as well, because I appreciate you might be a new player to this. So, yeah, we're on for a good game today. And again, thank you for the sub. That's massively appreciated. So, we were talking about balancing and weaponizing these large mixed patch builds. And again, if you can get it perfectly, sorted out, I believe that you can do almost anything in the game. You basically weaponize something that nobody uses. You're utilizing an unknown or underfunded part of the map. Now, my idea is this, and bear with me on this because some of this will sound insane. 99 Yoneg, again, thank you for the sub, dude. Guys, I say this every week. I'm just happy you guys are here, so thank you very much for being here. I never ask for subs and stuff because we're a very small channel, and I like the fact that it's small. But I do appreciate your support as well, so thank you. So, throughput. It's one of the biggest issues we have with patches like this. And so what I would say is if we have 3 different throughputs, let's just use 3 for an example now because I don't want to kind of busy up my screen with too many arrows. The way that I look at it is that we don't need to just filter them into one specific point. Instead, what we need to do is we need to split them twice. Okay, alright, and again, for any of you that's new to the stream, yes, this is MS Paint. And yes, I will be consolidating my MS Paint skills and getting better at it as we go. But we need to split them down once to then reintegrate different lines with each other. And that's where the threading comes in, and it is so hard to do. Like, we need to cross-thread out ores and then thread it back into lines that need it and bleed it back in away from lines that don't. What I'll do probably down the line, actually, because I do want to test this, is I'll do like a mini stream of me testing throughputs. But yeah, I don't think it's an original concept, but it's something I've been working on in the background for a while now. So let's take a look at the overview of the game so far. We have 15 on 16 with people still being picked. So yeah, you filter at the source, which is something that people do after. So what people do is they grab everything, you know, they'll grab a huge mix packs like this and they'll send it down multiple belts. And then they'll just go, okay, belts, deal with it. And I think there's something you can do before that. But it's not easy. And again, you can basically cause yourself more problems. If you get it wrong, you can cause yourself more problems there than if you just send it down one belt and then sushi smelt it and get yourself going on that way. Yeah, so we have 15 on 16. I can imagine with players still left to be picked, we can end up close to 20 on 20. Again, guys, this is a live game. Today is kind of the best players against the best players, but during the week these games are hosted for free. You can come and join us. You don't need any mods, anything special in your game. You just need Factorio, that's it. And then you can come and play live. I'll be streaming some normal games of me playing as well. I need to shake the rust off a little bit, so you can expect me to have a stream up down the line of me kind of figuring out the new meta. So let's take a look at the teams. Abigail, Cognitive, Gory George, Jarmakil, don't know that guy, Joshua, Morgan, Ncling, Pavel, Pipes, Soldier, Uncanny Broken, Virus, Vortex, Wazowski, and Woo on South. With more to come, with the captain obviously being Ncling. And up north we have Banana, Black Zero, Blitzy's up north, who will make 0 mistakes, I've been told. Califabop, Carl, Cliff Bill, Dr. Claw, Gaming Guy, Greg Innovator, Jimmy 50. Oh, these guys are so strong. Lameness, Mate Hawks, Neuro, Roombogler, Sticklord, Zero Sun. I will stick a prediction up. Let me get that going on right now. I don't think we're going to have many more people join us. Alright guys, prediction has gone up. Feel free to bet with your pot noodles. Don't bet with real money, obviously. But yeah, you've got some pot noodles there. You'll be accruing as the stream goes on. And yeah, just check them out. See if you guess correctly. If I had to take a pick right now, I'd say this is a very, very close game. It hasn't started yet because we're still filtering players in, so bear with. These games are always slow to start, but we're playing on a different difficulty level today that will show us a fast game. Yeah, buffering is a good idea. Buffering can work. But my, yeah, it's weird. I kind of want to draw it out for you on my screen, but all I'd be doing is just drawing arrows, which doesn't help sell my concept. What I'll do during the week is I want to stream a bit of me playing this game anyway, and instead of just doing my normal threat farming to win the game, I might go and tackle one of these. and just trying my new concept out, because it can work. It absolutely can work. And oh damn, I just got a free emote. I don't know what this means. I just had an emote unlock. Thank you very much. So yeah, feel free to bet your pot noodles. I've just seen Toucan's put in his emote only chat, so let's enable emote only chat for a while. And you can throw out your favorite emotes. I'll ask a question and see if we can. And we'll keep this going for a little while. So guys, with an emote, if you can, if you want to, how is your day going if you had an emoji to spam? This would be mine. Yeah, if you could sum your day up with an emoji right now, or sum up your weekend with an emoji, what would you stick? Okay, it's looking good. Crazy's having a good weekend so far. Damn, I forgot I had all of these as well, man. Holy. Oh yeah, I added them a while ago, didn't I? Jesus. It has literally been that long. Oh, I love me some coggers. I remember, guys, later on, if somebody dies, which will happen, remember to stick F in chat. It's a bit of a tradition for us. Especially if it's the first death of the game. The first death normally denotes that, yeah, things to come, things to come. But we should be getting going very soon. So hopefully I'll have more to talk to you about as the game goes on. This isn't a simple case of just following along with what builds are. We're also going to go into some predictions as to like what the playstyle is going to be. You can't just win the game just purely from existing. For those of you brand new, by the way, and I do appreciate if there are some brand new players here, the objective of the game mode is to save your silo from being destroyed. The things that will kill your silo are the enemy bugs that are on your side of the map. And as you can see here, the map is split down the middle by a big long river or ocean or piece of water that you cannot cross. So the north will have a silo, the south will have a silo, and they're in exactly the same spot, north and south. As the game goes on, the enemy team can make your bugs stronger and evolve them to be harder to kill, faster, they hit you harder, they just become nightmares. So your goal is to make the enemy bugs as strong as possible, and also build up your own research and technology, which we'll go through as the game goes on, to get to a point where you can either defend yourself from big bugs with like laser towers and flamethrower turrets and stuff, or your enemy crumbles under the pressure of the bugs coming in, and all of the stuff that they build gets killed, and they eventually lose their silo. I say this every week, we never have, what the hell am I talking about? We never have draws in this game mode. Both teams will build a base, and one base will crumble. Sometimes both, but normally one base is a crumble. So yeah, this will be a good one. This will be a very strong game. We're looking about a 1 hour game playtime. If both teams play this aggressively, like I think they will. If both teams play a more relaxed approach, not relaxed in the sense that they're not taking this seriously, but they have ideas to go deeper into the tech tree, deeper into their research, we might be looking at a 2 hour game, potentially. But yeah, thanks for all the first time chatters, guys. I really appreciate it. For any of you guys, I mean, a lot of you will have watched me before. You'll know I haven't streamed at all this year, other than last week. I was really seriously ill, and I'm better now, much better. But I wasn't able to stream until I got my health sorted out, which now has happened. I'm on the mend, I'm on the bounce, and we're back to normal programming. Unfortunately, you might be seeing a bit too much of me. There is a game tomorrow that I will also be casting. That game is predicted to be slightly longer because we're on an easier difficulty, so we'll see more of the game, we'll see more of the depth of the game. Today is a sprint. Today is going to be a 1 hour, 60-minute rush to a particular point in the game, and when that rush is over, one team will be, well, pretty much dead in the water. Right, let's get those emotes off. Let's get back to chatting. For anybody new, by the way, please ask questions. We love it. We will not shout you down if you want to ask a question. There is nothing wrong with asking a simple question. There is no such thing as a stupid question. me, as well as multiple people in the chat, have played this game a lot. We really like this game mode. We love it. Sometimes we can talk a little bit in kind of code because we know kind of like the depth of the game. It might sound like jargon to you guys, gibberish. Yeah, if anything looks a bit weird to you, or you're sat there going, why has somebody built a base over there? I wish you'd talk about that. Seriously, just ask me. I'm happy to help. My name's Ghosty, by the way. This game will be uploaded to YouTube later on because we want to watch the whole tournament back. At the moment, we're in the pool stages of a large tournament where 16 captains will eventually be filtered down into a grand final, and there'll be a grand final game in a couple of weeks' time. It's basically for bragging rights. And I just want to establish something right now, because they're fighting over bragging rights I've held for a year. So being the best captain is fine, and well done, you've beaten all the other captains in the server to get there. You have not yet beaten me. I do believe I am the final boss of this game mode. I remember, always stay humble, guys, but I was rank 1 for a long time. Long time. I was unbeaten for a long time, and I had a win streak. So, you know, I'm just saying, come at me. Whoever wins this whole thing, I might need to throw down and say, hey man, you've won that, but have you beaten me? And when I say that, I haven't played the game in like half a year, so I need to get back in and actually relearn, because the meta's changed. Things have changed. There are some new builds in here. I'm excited to see it. You know, there's a new game mode as well, a new difficulty. There's a lot of new players, so a lot of them haven't even heard of me. Imagine that. Imagine being on the Bite Battle server and not having heard of OG Ghosty. I feel sorry for these people. They're missing out. And for any of you that think I'm being serious, I'm not. I like to poke fun at myself every now and again. I am incredibly good at this game. However, I'm also very humble, I'm very legendary, I'm very hilarious, and yeah, we like to have a bit of fun. Skill ceiling is always getting pushed up. Yeah, dude, you're not wrong. When Jimmy 50 arrived, where's Jimmy 50? He's up here. Is he up here? Or is he down south? I can't remember. Let me check my teams out. So, Jimmy 50 is incredibly quick, and when he arrived, he just didn't build defense. And he won games by not defending and just being a nightmare person at speed. Just running the game deep into its tech tree. And as you guys know, you need to do research in order to unlock certain things in the game. And he just had the perfect line all the way down to what he needed. Oh no, you can't predict. Oh no, that must be the you might have the gambling rule stuff. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. If you tell me who you want to win, I'll see if I can put a few hundred pot noodles for you on the line. So far, the North are heavily stacked with pot noodles. 8.9 thousand people. Pot noodles are being bet on North. The South, only 110. If you want to win some pot noodles, guys, I would bet on the South. I'm going to be honest with you now. It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. So the game has begun, which is fantastic, because I can talk about things other than how the game will start. You are given some basic items, which all need to be hand-fed, as we know. Factorio is a game of automation. It's about building up a big base and having it basically build the stuff that you want for it. However, you don't start with anything that's particularly useful to you. So you're going to have some burner miners down that you need to put coal in to make work. You'll then have some stone furnaces that, again, you need to put some coal in, and once the miner passes some raw ore over to the stone furnace, it will smelt your plates just like this. So you need to feed this and this in order to get something from here. Very simple, I know, and to all of the guys that play Factorio a lot, you know what's going on. Rafe, you are not wrong. I do need to remember to get myself a co-host. So as we can see here now, Ncling at lightning speed is already sticking down the blueprint for a smelting line, and he's going to be so robotic with this. This is one thing that if I'm playing with Ncling, I am absolutely just giving him free reign to do this. He is going to get his smelting lines down fast. They're just going to pop up, and it's just going to be bang right there on the screen. For all of you guys, and again, I know most of you do know, there are no imported blueprints, meaning you need to build everything by hand, and then you can kind of save it and flip through it, but you cannot take a blueprint from game to game. So it looks to me, if I grab my MS Paint tools now, that Ncling is prioritizing building his blueprints off to just shift it across from the east. He might replace these slightly further down. we have a death already. So yeah, I'd imagine that we have some smelting lines here going across. And then for the north, it depends on which space they decide to prioritize where they want to build theirs. But the map is open, you know, there's no hard and fast, this is the best place to stick your stuff down. So yeah, we'll have to take a look and see how it goes. It appears to me like this is where the smelting line's going to go down. He puts down I for iron, C for copper. Oh dude, 16 versus 15 is a good number, but we've had higher. And as the tournament goes on, I believe that we're going to end up with 30 on 30. Especially the grand final, dude. The grand final is going to be huge. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, we already have some lines coming down. Iron, copper, that's great to see. Some plates already being smelted, a couple of copper plates being smelted, but at the beginning of the game, iron is pretty much the thing you need to begin with. Meanwhile up north, they're prioritizing just getting this burner city down. We call this a burner city because you need to burn coal to make it happen. So you'll see players grab large quantities of coal out of here and then just deposit it back into here in order to kind of pay out your plates. We meanwhile see Runebogger and Cliff are heading over here. I spoke about this mix patch earlier on. I don't think they're going to use the entirety of it, but they might use some of it. Ah, the numbers. Yeah, these numbers are very important. Let me just change the music up a little bit. Screaming jazz is maybe not the best. Let's get some chill on whilst I explain why we're here. Here we go, that's a bit chill. We'll get some Deutsch music on later. Techno party! Okay, everybody! Time for techno! That will happen. But for now, we'll stick on some disco. Disco is pretty chill for the beginning of the game. So the numbers at the top of the screen. Both the north and the south have a number of bugs on the screen at any given time. As you can see here, these red buildings are spawner buildings that will spawn bugs. And when there are enough bugs, and this will be difficult to explain, but stay with me on this one because it will make sense, and we will show this off in the next 10-15 minutes. When the number on your side is positive, that means that the bugs will begin to run down the map and fight you. And at the moment there are 13 on the south and 10 on the north, and as the game begins the bugs are really weak, meaning that you can kill them off with a simple pistol and some yellow ammo, or later on you can unlock a submachine gun and you can kill them off with basic ammo, right? You don't need to worry about them too much, and there's only 15 of them, right? That doesn't mean 15 bugs running at you all at once. All that means is that bugs will eventually, over time, spawn in this area and they'll move down the map and eventually they will bump into your base. The number next to the threat is how evolved those bugs are, and that effectively means how strong they are. So at the moment they're 0.7%, the bugs are very, very easy to kill, and it won't take much. You can even melee them, you know, they're not difficult to handle at this early stage of the game. However, here we go, look at these guys. They have brown shells, denoting that they're small. They will evolve multiple times as the game goes on, to eventually become behemoth bugs, which are too big for even one player to kill, with extra added stuff like capsules and defenders, and yeah, they get big. At the moment these guys, as you can see, there's not a lot of them. They're not really aggressive. I mean, there's only 23 of them on the map from the north, 25 on the south. Like, there's no way more than 2 or 3 of these guys decide, okay, right, there's enough of us now, we're going to come down the map and fight. What you'll see though is a few players move towards the bug area. And this is where I cut my teeth. This is how I managed to get to number 1 on the server, is that I identified that certain game modes in certain ways allow you and afford you the opportunity to farm the bugs. So at the moment, if you fight these guys, you can take this positive number and drive it into a negative. When that number becomes negative... Sorry, I didn't want to sneeze into the mic. When that number becomes negative, the whole of your side of the map, from the furthest eastern corner to the furthest western corner, the bugs will become passive. We do official commentary. I'm back, and welcome everyone. My name is Ghosty. This will go up online. Yeah, Gesundheit. We have, see here you go, a couple of bugs coming down the map. If they were to get to your silo, they would start to shoot your silo, right? But at the moment they're super weak. We just started the game. So, yeah. Oh, damn, we do have an early wall. So the way this game is played in the long form is you need to build a bit of a castle, right? Let's just zoom out real quick. I'll do a lot of drawing at the beginning of the game because we're still waiting for stuff to happen, basically, right? So let's say, for instance, we're up north. The bugs will eventually come down the map and they want to come and kill your base off, right? They don't like you being here. And so you need to build basically like a mini castle around the map in order to keep yourself safe. And the way that you do this is you build large walls that house your production. So for instance, you know, you're in this blue area is all of your chip building and technology. And maybe in this black area, you've got all of your power block, right? And then everything in this purple area is your like advanced technology, right? So blue is the beginning of the game, black is power, purple is end game, right? You want to keep it safe. And the way that you do that is you build turrets, you put up a big wall, and you absorb waves coming in. So as the waves come down and they bash into your wall, you have, for instance, flame towers, which will put flame across your wall and just burn them away, right? And in the early stage of the game, this is really effective. But as the game goes on, and as the bugs get stronger, and as they get bigger and faster with more health, and there's more of them, they will eventually be able to absorb your damage, right? So if you begin by pushing them off, and before you know it, they're coming at you, eating your walls, getting in. So you need more technology. You need to go deeper into the tech tree to get upgrades to your fire damage, for instance, upgrades to your laser damage and laser production even. We can actually look at what research is going in at the moment, and we can see now that the North have managed to get to green science early and logistics 1 early. They're now prioritizing steel, and the South are moving towards really standard stuff, stuff that you need to get down at the beginning of the game anyway. So we can see here now that the smelting lines are slowly up and running. We have some electric miners mining, we have some power being built down here, and kind of semi-automated with a little bit of hand feeding early science builds. The way that I look at this, and you guys will hear me say this every week, so apologies if I repeat myself, but for anybody new that's watching, the way that I look at the game and the way that I explain the game, I don't explain any game, I explain the game. Jesus, I'm still drunk from breakfast, obviously. And drink responsibly. Voice up a bit, music down a bit. Okay, mate, let me do this. And how about that? Let me know about all this stuff, by the way. This is really helpful. I only really find out about the volume at the end when I upload it to YouTube, and I realize that I've had a terrible job. I've done a terrible job. So thank you for the help. This really does help. So back to the early game. I would denote the early game being when you can put into your laboratories, depending on where you are, the first 2 sciences, that would be green and red science. When you can fill your labs with green and red science and research with that efficiently in most of your labs, the early game for you is about over, basically. You're finishing the early game. And then obviously I would then denote the mid game being your kind of military and blue science, followed up with your late game being your kind of your purple, your yellow, and your white science. In this game, I don't believe we're going to go much past this bracket. I think we might see purple, but I believe we're going to stop around about military and blue, which means we're not going to have all of the technology that we normally lean on in order to keep us safe. So we're going to see a bit of a Mad Max approach here from one of the sides as, oh, this thing again? One question to any of you guys that have played a lot of beta battles recently, what is this? I saw this last week and I genuinely just scratched my head. Like, Morgan, it took them like 2 hours to build power that should really have only taken about 30 minutes. And I know that it's this large, sprawling construction, but like, this surely doesn't work. And I'm not trying to throw shade on Morgan at all. Maybe they've done the math, but is this a thing? I mean, even with yellow inserters as well. It's a new design. Good for long... Okay, alright, good for long games. I knew Neuro had a version of this with lots of these boilers weaved in together. And it's probably space efficient, because now all you need to do once these boilers are down is just stick the turbines, somewhere over here, but... Fair enough. Alright, we'll keep tabs on this. Last week it blew me away and I didn't have a chance to like look at it properly. I just went, oh, that's a bit weird, and then zoomed out and went somewhere else. So I will try and keep my eye on that. For any of you that's new, that's watching, this is a traditional power block. We have 1 boiler to 2 steam engines. You can have 20 boilers in a row for 1 water pump, and you'll need a couple of miners to feed it coal. It's pretty simple, but it works, you know? It's what we call El Clasico. And thank you for the follow, gaming guy. I appreciate you, dude. I just seen that pop up now on my screen. So, the South are being proactive. They have, at the moment, a couple of smelting lines in. Iron is being prioritized. Copper will come soon too. They have a really large power build coming in, and some science kicking in. The North have a decent power block. It appears to me like they have... Oh damn. And this is why I love this game mode so much. One person has decided to run all the way over here, build this absolute monstrosity, which will just build green science, which they can throw at the enemy, basically causing the enemy's bugs to increase in strength and all that jazz. And it's already happening. It's already happening. Califabop is slowly but surely ramping up the pressure for the South. And if I take a look at mutagen log here, we can see that 45 green science has been thrown from north to south, meaning that the South are now dealing with 6.1% evolved bugs. It's not that much at the beginning of the game, right? 6% bugs, you can still shoot them with a pistol. But when that turns into like 26%, 36, 46%, and you've barely come out of the early game, yeah, that's when things get really rough. That's when things get really, really rough. So I like this. This is a pressurizing build. Now, there's a time limit on this, and I'm sure that in 30 minutes time, you don't continue with this. But in this early game, this one player with a very interesting build, and obviously this is all being hand-fed, by the way. There's no way you can automate this correctly right now, is managing to have some kind of impact on the game, helping their team. Beyond that, let's take a look at what's happening north. Claw it's got some basic smelting down. We've got some grenade production. Pretty standard stuff, to be honest. Out here, Sticklord has some sushi smelting. You love to see it. Power's going down. Boggler has got some form of iron production. Pavev and Wu have got some... Ooh, interesting. So we have some red spam out here by Wu. Califabot with another 12, 6.9% on north. Interesting. We're going for spam. It will be a spam base. And here we go, lads. The North are managing to threat farm, meaning again, driving the number into a negative by killing the bugs because the bugs are weak. And this means that the North don't have an aggressive bug side, basically. They've neutralized their side. Meanwhile, on the South, they have a positive number in 369, nice, at 6.9% strength. Oh, damn. F in chat, boys. There's been a few, but you don't need to die there. I'm just saying you don't need to die there. Again, here we go. Here's the main thrust of the game mode. The bugs will come in, they will find your buildings, and they will kill them. If you don't react in time to this, they will kill stuff that you cannot afford to lose. And yeah, you can see they're already being a nuisance, right? You already have a lot of these stone furnaces down. You don't want to lose them, right? You don't want to rebuild them because it costs you more time and more resources. So yeah, losing a threat farmer early and dealing with stronger bugs is certainly problematic for both sides. Although I say that, and I've just seen a throw go across. I swear I just saw a throw from south to north, right? Here we go. Okay, so pipes. Where's pipes at? Here? Yeah, the green spam is... I knew it. We're going to see green spam. I love these games so much. I love these games. This is going to be who can weather the storm more than the others. And they're basically in opposite directions here. Can Califas bop? Damn, that's crazy. So, good question. Very good question. Each science tier has a certain weighted mutagen multiplier attached to it. So if red science is a 1 times multiplier, it costs 3 resources to build, and it has a 1 times efficiency. Green science being sent is a 2.6 times multiplier, meaning depending on the game mode that you play, and this has this is a normal game. Sometimes you play easy game modes where sending science doesn't do as much damage. With this, what you send will do exactly the kind of damage numbers it's going. So yeah, as you go down the deeper tech trees, you will be given, you have the opportunity to send stronger science to increase and pump the number up more and more and more. To send, we don't have the panel on us now, but when you play the game, there'll be a panel here on the top left-hand side. As long as the science is in your inventory, you can click on the button of the particular science that you want to send. For instance, you'd have a little red button for red science, and it will take all of the science out of your inventory, similar to what Calipher is doing here now to Team South, and it will send whatever you have to the enemy side. It will disappear out of your inventory, and it will land pumping these guys up to become stronger and stronger. And as you can see now, the North are dealing with 11.4% strength, the South 10.5%. So we're going to start to see very different games here emerge from both teams, right? Because both sides will be dealing with different numbers of bugs, different threat, different strength. They're going to be researching different things. You know, even at the moment, we have exclusive research coming from both North and South, so they have different ideas as to how they want to go about winning the game, what they need to do that. And beyond that, there's this screen, which is my favorite. And apologies to anybody that isn't like into their stats and nerdy stuff, but like when you build the first science, that normally denotes that you're slightly ahead, but then you need to kind of continue to produce and consume it, right? Because you can't just build red science all game and then expect to win off that. Eventually, you're going to need to research, right? Because otherwise these packs of bugs will be bigger, stronger, and more aggressive and kill off more of your stuff, right? So what you need, effectively, is to balance building science with sending science. Because you want to annoy your opposition by sending lots of science to them, but you also need to research your own technology. So there's this kind of like spend and save mechanic that goes on where, you know, you want to be obviously making their life difficult up north or south, but you also need to be going down here and like building basic items to continue the growth of the factory. Eventually you're going to need to build a wall to keep them out. Stick flame towers behind it. We'll go through all of this, by the way. All of this stuff is like this is my meat and drink. I win games off the back of doing stuff like this. How you pattern your wall. It sounds a bit crazy, I know, but to anybody that's new here, trust me, the pattern that you put into your wall, very, very important. You know, going for a flat wall for now is good, but down the line you're going to need to add some kind of nuance to this. And whether that be in the form of, and I'm going to do this here because I haven't done this in ages and I love drawing on the map. Whether that comes in the space or where you build tiny little clusters. Oh damn, that's wrong. Where you build tiny little clustered outposts that the bugs bounce into and out of. Or you go for the maze approach, where you build effectively loads of tiny little squares and blocks to have them filter through. There's some beautiful patterns, dude. And there's also things like death gulches as well, which are really, really hard for me to draw. But bear with. Okay, yeah, I'm not an artist, all right? Just for anybody watching. But the idea is you put these V's into your wall, with all of this being physical wall, and all this being physical wall, and all of this being physical wall, and all this being physical wall, and effectively funnel the enemies into a kill zone. You funnel them down here, so they hit this flat area here, and then they peter off. You split a wave down into these death areas. And then inside of this death area, you have effectively a kill zone for fire. And there you go. The bugs just run straight past. But if we had our defense set up like this, then these bugs would absolutely get detonated on this part of the map. At the moment, they are aggressive and they're running into the base, and we'll keep tabs with that. But you need to have some active defenders. So in this game mode, you don't necessarily just have people that build. Look at all these nerds. Look at these nerds building things. Oh, ratios? Come on. Why do we have this many smelters? I don't care. Output, throughput, nobody needs to know that, right? But these builder nerds, they're not going to be involved in the defense of your base, right? They want to build a big nerdy base and do big nerdy research and get all the way down the big nerdy tech tree and be great big nerds. But at the same time, there is an aggressive element here. You know, in many ways, this is both offense and defense. And the teams that win games have a good balance between the two. You need the right kind of players to go on offense. You need the right kind of players to play defense and build up your walls and your defenses behind that, whilst your big nerdy builder nerds get you the technology that you need in order to put your flame turrets behind. You know, you need people building walls early. I say this every single time I stream this, and I mean this. Anybody can play this game, and anybody can play this game and win. But to play this game and have an impact, you don't need to have a lot of skill. You don't need to have lots of knowledge. What you do need to do is have a basic understanding of how you go about losing a game. Because once you know how you lose, you can kind of fight against that. And my number one thing I say to new players all the time, especially if you're playing a game mode that's going to go on for more than 1 hour, which with this game we might see it go on for about an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, before we know which side is really kind of in the lead and winning. Please make walls. This is like the biggest play you can possibly make as a new player. Number one, I would say, not like that, build power, because your base will need power as the game goes on. You know, these bases get wild, by the way. Any of you guys that have played an I'm Too Young to Die game, and we'll see one of them down the line, I think an ITYTD game is for tomorrow, these bases will become enormous. I'm talking about like covering most of this map, from here to out here to out here, right? Huge bases. But at the moment, you need walls to protect yourself. So as a new player, build power to fund the base, so fuel the base, sorry, and then build walls, dude. This is huge. If there was a commending system where I could commend a player and give them like a +1, you know, thumbs up, anybody that builds wall, for me, is getting a +1 thumbs up. Well done, mate. Thank you. Because it's not the funnest thing to do. In terms of what version we're on, I think we're on the latest version. You don't need any special mods or any special stuff downloaded. I literally just fired up Factorio and I can load right into this. So, yeah. Anybody that's watching, by the way, this is a special game. Yeah, with the DLC. I don't think we need the DLC stuff, though, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's just normal. I might be wrong in that, but I genuinely have nothing new on here at all. That's correct, yeah. Later stable, no mods in the DLC. Yep. It would be a nightmare to code. So what we're looking at now is, you know, the base is building themselves out. We will eventually see some science go down, you know, some labs go down and stuff. At the moment, we're trading blows. There are some punches being traded either side through green signs being sent from Califabop here. Cognitive funnel on the south to the north. That's a really large green build. I love stuff like this. This is what makes the game mode so fun, is that Calif's Cognitive's idea of building green science looks like this. However, Calif's idea of building green science looks like this. And both do the same thing, but they achieve it in different ways. I like that. You know, your mind, how you decide to approach a problem and engineer a solution, it's really key. It's really important. I believe, yeah, here we go. Fuck it. Obviously, Boggler's going to do the military spam. Obviously. That's such a Boggler thing to do. And Sticklord is going to go for military spam as well. So I get the feeling that we're going to be looking at tier 3 signs. Tier 3 is sign spam to begin with. As I check in my mutagen log now, so far the south have sent 800 green. The north have only sent 380. The north are now sat at 24%. That's uncomfortable. That's very, very uncomfortable. IB Sleepy, thank you for the follow, mate. I do appreciate you. Guys, this has been a great stream so far. Holy. Somebody gifted 10 subs earlier on, guys. You don't need to gift 10 subs, but I do appreciate it. I'm just happy for you guys to come and watch. This is a great little game mode that you can play. All you need is a working version of Factorio, and that's it. That's all you need. We have these games run every single day, every week. Yeah, dude, Roomboggler's mill spam is not nice. I don't think it's his design. I've seen this, I'm not throwing shade on him, but it's not his design, but this is a strong military science building. You effectively sushi smelt, you then divide copper into iron, and then you have some coal coming up here to do your grenades, and some coal coming down here to do your steel. You don't need a ton of red ammo to be built. You don't need a ton of grenades to be built, and any excess grenades you can use yourself. Because if you're going for this, by the way, if you're making this happen, you're basically accepting the fact that the other team are also going for a spam. Military science is very niche in its use, but can be very strong if operated correctly. But you're basically saying, look, they're sending science to us. We need to send science at them. I will make this play. I'll build this more elaborate version of science in order to get the larger mutagen multiplier. However, be aware, it's not going to last forever, and I wonder now. We're at 25% on the north, 19.8 on the south. I'm not overly sold on either side winning. I mean, I'm worried about stuff like this. You need to cover your base off. You don't want to lose any of this, right? It's taking you more than a hot minute to get this smelting down, right? If these bugs pull up half of these stone furnaces, that's a loss. If they start pulling up power poles or they get into your mining here and nobody notices, look at this, guys. Come on. Your silo is right here. Like, it's right there. Like, you do not need a wave of bugs. Even as weak as they are, you need to cover off these areas, right? And it's good that they've got a wall down. That's fantastic. But that wall needs to extend itself out and across. You know, you need to cut yourself off. We've seen this time and time again. In fact, for anybody that's watched my stream before, press 1 in chat if you've ever seen a game end when the bugs do this. They just come in from the side. You'd think that they'd come from the top, right? Because they spawn from the top or the bottom, depending on which side you're on. But they don't. They absolutely just sideswipe you. That's how you lose game. They ninja you out of the game, right? They end your game for you. Neuro is spamming heavy. What's Neuro spamming? Oh, somebody unplugged a pole? Okay. So this is traditional. What we're seeing now, we're seeing a standard issue kind of lab setup. As you can see, we've had some automation happen. We're building our green science and our red science. Red science, obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, you take an iron plate, you put it in an assembling machine and you make an iron gear. And then you take raw copper plates, stick them in an assembly machine, and after a while you'll get red science. The green science level 2 is slightly more involved. You need to build yellow inserters and yellow belts, which by this point you'll have lots of because you'll already built red science. Feed them into a machine and you will have the first 2 levels. You'll have the early game of the science. Down, let's take a look at research real quick. So what are the south? South have exclusively researched gun turrets. The north have gone for ore processing. The north are ahead in their research. Quite some margin as well, to be honest. So they may have flame turrets up before the south. In fact, they absolutely will. They have some oil consumption. This area, oh damn. We can see now the bugs have slightly evolved. There are some pink shelled bugs, which are medium sized. So brown shelled being small, pink being medium. They will go up 2 more stages, blue for big, and then behemoths are green. Sorry if I get my words out. And this is frightening. Like, you need to cut this corner off. This is a problem for your area. You need to send somebody here, or build a wall here. But like at the moment, we're having some proliferation happening here from the bugs, and this is not comfortable. I do not want bugs this close to any of my boxes with lots of items, right? I don't want to lose hundreds of gears or hundreds of belts just because a bug came here. So, yeah, 24% for the south, 27% for the north though. So the north might be having similar problems. I can see now the bugs are just difficult to hurt, difficult to kill. Meanwhile though, on the south, I saw a really large pack coming in. They should end up round about here. Here we go. Like, somebody needs to be on this. There are 18 people on the south, 20 people on the north, 18 on the south, right? Every time the bugs have come through, it's here. Oh, dude, now is the best time to come back. We have a whole month's worth of tournament games to play, as the bugs are just wiping out. This is really uncomfortable for the south. They need to figure this out. This area is such a nightmare, just the edge of this lake. You know, you need people here with grenades. And I spoke about this earlier, but these builder nerds, they don't want to fight. They don't have grenades on them. Then they're not part of the defensive effort, right? Somebody needs to take this on and figure it out. Now, at this point in time, these gun turrets, after about the 30-minute mark, the gun turrets become completely useless. They're not really a feature for us as a community. I've seen some people try and make them work, but it's not. Like right now, if I had to, I'd put some gun turrets down here. So for instance, the build could be, let me just pull up my building real quick. I'd build a big box of walls like this. And inside of that box, I would build multiple turrets to kind of keep the bugs at bay, with the knowledge that eventually they will go down. No, this is a tournament game, my dude. tournament game. So we have a 16 captain tournament happening right now, and in a few weeks time we will have a grand final game. So today's tournament captains are Neuro and Ncling. Last week was Jimmy 50 and Outstanding, and tomorrow we have 2 more captains going up against each other. So yeah, over the course of the next couple of weeks we will see the captains thin themselves out to eventually we end up with 2 finalists basically. There'll be a quarter-final, there'll be a semi-final, and eventually there'll be a grand final to take part in and to watch. And the grand final, I believe, will have huge numbers. And again, yeah, what's annoying about the gun turrets is they do some good damage, but the turrets themselves are inherently weak. And because the amount of bugs that come, like the packs and the size and the waves that come in, it's hard to keep them up, dude. It's not worth it. A better play to make would be something like this, where you have some flamer turrets recessed behind a wall so that they can't be spat on, and hope that you can get these flamer turrets up, and also close your wall off. Again, we see some really good efforts here. We've got like one 90-degree corner, some blueprints going down here to kind of cover off this western side. I'd really like to see some eastern side defense as well for the south. The north are already on it. You can see now they don't have a massive wall down, but it's coming in. It's coming in. And yeah, the research is flying in. Let's take a look at the mutation log, dude. They are throwing it at each other, right? Almost 200 military signs being sent from the north, 120 from the south. Runeboggler has really kicked into gear, by the way. Holy. He just threw 100. He's expanding his production as well. Oh, if you want information about the tournament, I will put a link to... I'll put a link to it and pin it on my chat. They have like a big Google document which kind of goes through all the different brackets and the different people that will be involved. But yeah, today's game will also be followed by another tomorrow. And tomorrow's game will be another 2 captains going at it. Caliphate versus Proc. An interesting matchup. If I'm being honest, I've seen Proc's captain quite a lot, and I like his captaincy style. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Caliphate is, for me, is an outpost player, so they'll need to draft in some really strong main base player as well. Somebody that like a Ncling, like a Jimmy 50, like a Neuro for instance, or an Outstanding, that can build up the main base safely. Okay, right, let's take a full zoom out real quick. I'm just going to grab some water and then we'll go through all the different elements that are currently happening in front of us. Energy situation, yeah, we'll get there. We'll touch on that first, mate. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. Back in a sec. So, going from west to east, north to south, Runeboggler is building military spam. It's going well for him. They're managing to churn out a decent amount of military every couple of minutes, followed by Sticklord's northern build just to his north, and also again military sciences slowly but surely churning out. There are some throughput issues, but you're going to get that through sushi smelting. Again, we spoke about this at the beginning of the game, but this is what you want to avoid. And I have an idea. I have a semblance of an idea of how you stop this from happening. Just because sushi smelting is so varied, it's never going to be perfect. But I think you can optimize it better than this. But for now, this is fine. It's working. Like, it's churning stuff out, so yeah. In the south, below them, we have another military spam outpost, which has doubled itself up, which is lovely. Normal captains games. I am one of the best. Remember to stay humble, everyone. That's the key here. You know, when you're the best at something, you can't go shouting about how legendary you are, even though I am. You can't talk about how amazingly skillful you are, even though I absolutely am. Remember to stay humble, everyone. I love normal captains games. They're for everyone as well. They are for absolutely everyone, you know. So for anybody new watching, it's something you can get involved in. You don't need a ton of skill either. You don't need to be the absolutely top end of Factorio player to get involved. What you do need, though, is to be able to talk to your team. Communication is really important in this game mode. Things can really go south quickly if you don't if you don't communicate what's going on. So for instance, if I'm Vortex now, I'm telling my team, look, the bugs are coming in, I'm having some problems, I need help up here, right? My defensive outpost is being smashed, and I can rebuild this, but I need some help. So please send 1 or 2 more people down to this southern area to help me build this out, otherwise I cannot threat farm. I will go down, this will go down, and I'll lose 36 minutes of being here to the bugs. They win, they always win, but that being said, it's you want to keep your build up as long as possible. The south, I mean, look at this, we are 0.2% within touching distance of each other, so both teams are throwing a very fast rate, forcing the enemy bugs to become stronger as we go. And yeah, 36.4 to the north, 36.7 to the south. The wall is coming in, but it's also, I know it's kind of coming in. I'm worried about this area, dude. I'm going to keep saying this until they figure it out. Like, this worries me. When you die, yeah, it's hardcore death. So when you die, all of your items drop with you, and you spawn back into the here after a few seconds of being dead. Needing to go and grab everything. So this guy, for instance, that just went down, he goes down with all of his items. So if you die with 100 grenades, those 100 grenades stay here. And more often than not, they're around bugs that you can't come and kill. So you need to be aware that if you're bringing items up, that you might lose them as you go. Yeah, this is rough, dude. This is already pretty tough for the south. And again, they're building their wall, but it doesn't exist out here. Oh dear. We do have some military science being researched. Let's check in on that. So North have gone for red circuits. They've gone for advanced processing, blue science, modular armor, plastics, and sulfur. And the South are just behind. The South are just like, I want to say a good 15 minutes behind on research, I want to say. And that mostly will be because of the size of the research area as well. And the relative safety the North have been able to play in, because they have multiple people up here. There's like 3 or 4 people, right? 1, 2, 3. I think there was a 4th. I might be wrong, but yeah, I think there were 4 people threat farming. And we talked about this at the beginning of the game, but I would have easily grabbed Zero Sun early on. Easily grabbed him early on. We do see again packs now roving through the south, and they can bump into anything from an outpost base over here to main base down here. And if they smash into any of this infrastructure, just imagine this. They hit this oil processing and you lose these refineries. That's such an expensive loss to have to rebuild, right? So yeah, for me, I'm looking at stuff like this and looking at expensive stuff that it's really close to, and I'm worried. Like, I'm worried about this. I'm sure they'll get a handle on it, but there are people going down a lot in the south. Now they have recruited a few more people to come in, so I think we have 3 in total threat farmers. But IB Sleepy's got his work cut out for him, if I get my words out. 42% now strength for the north, 39% for the south. Both sides are now feeling the pressure. But yes, the north have their flame towers hooked up and plugged in. Yeah, dude, let me grab you that Google document. Where is it real quick? Masters tournament. Sorry, my Discord is, here we go, Captain's Masters. Boom. If you take a look, now this document is interactive, so you can scan around. So there should be multiple tabs you can go into there. That should have the bracket, it should have the draw, it will have the players involved, as well as the rules as well, I believe, are on there. We like to host these at least 2 or 3 times a year, so yeah, this should be a really good tournament to start the year off. Double wall, I like it. I like it. Although you're still leaving bases out here to be quite vulnerable, you know. You're not immeasurable. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Goodbye, Stick Lord. Goodbye, Stick Lord's base. Oh no, I didn't mean to be here when that happened. I just zoomed in and I was like, oh yeah, you're leaving this base vulnerable. This is what happens. We talk about the bugs being annoying. They're now frustrating. These guys are big and strong enough to kill bases off with a couple of a caster's curse, I know. Yeah, remember to put F in chat, guys. Now, these are medium and small bugs. When they become large and behemoths, they will rip through the map. So, yeah, so about $300 to the winner. We do hold cash money tournaments. It's not about the cash money, it's more about the bragging rights. But we do host money tournaments throughout the year where I think somebody won some Bitcoin last year. Oh, damn. And the South are feeling the pain too. We might be looking at a very quick rip. If one side doesn't get on their defense fast enough, we could be looking at a really quick and painful ending. The North have got their wall up, and I do like the double wall. That Sticklord build is down though, dude. So like, I mean, is this long for this world? That wave may present itself down at Runeboggler's base. These waves now are smashing into the South as well. I don't think it was a full Bitcoin. They won some, if I remember correctly, they won some Ethereum. They won some Bitcoin. And there was a cash prize which they donated to the next tournament. So there was some cash money that they decided they just wanted to pass on. And then they took the cryptocurrency. I don't know how much value. Yeah, 0.no. It was a decent sum, you know. To win one of these tournaments, it's a big deal. You know, you're going up against 16 other people that are all vying for your spot, effectively the top spot. They all have strategies. You as a player will have a playstyle that we know of, that we'll have seen before. So you as a player have a predictable playstyle that you might need to change. So there's that level of kind of like being read and reading the opposition as well, that needs to come into play. So it's not as simple as like, be the best. Sometimes you've got to play the hand you dealt. And sometimes you're dealt a really horrible hand that you have to figure out a way around. Much like these bugs are going to figure a way around this flamer wall by literally just walking around it, it looks like. Both sides are really kicking around. You need to out-nerd your opponent. You do. You really do. You need to kind of know. So at the beginning of the game, you'll notice that I was talking about certain players going on certain sides. That's because I'm well aware of different play styles because I've played a lot. That's really the only difference is, you know, if you watch a football team every week, I'm not saying soccer. If you watch a football team every week, you'll know which players play in certain ways, right? Who the aggressive players are, who the tactical players are, you know, what side your goalkeeper prefers to save goals, etc. So, like, in the same way, if you play in the server every now and again, you'll know that Ncling is a main base builder. You'll know that. For instance, Jimmy50 is a very fast player, right? Here we go. We're on red chips. We're at sub 1 hour on red chips. So we're at that point where you as a captain, you have all the tools available to you. It's which tools do you choose and which tools do you allow your opponent to have? So which players do you give your opponent in order to get the ones you want? And I said at the beginning of the game, and I stand by this, picking Zero Sun early is a good idea. He will threat farm. He will threat farm through the entire game if you ask him to. And he will do it efficiently. I believe he learnt from the best player in the server, a player named Ghosty. Many have heard of his elusive games. Apparently he streams more than once a year. But he has adopted a playstyle which is very strong, very aggressive and very efficient. And, you know, when you're dealing with packs of bugs like this, at the 45-minute mark, having a player like that on your side is vital. Because otherwise, we're about to see destruction. You know, who's saving you from this? How are you saving yourself from this? How much are you willing to sacrifice in terms of your own infrastructure? And this is all time out from not continuing your build. So, like, every second you spend here, your opponent is freely continuing their building up their research, getting to blue signs, you know, researching a bit more. It's an arms race. It's an arms race. And at the moment, the North are winning. And we can see exactly why in a second. So the pack of bugs come in. They're looking for a target. They're currently kind of zoning in on which side they want to attack on, left or right. And if there weren't any walls here, they would just stroll all the way in. And this is quite a vast pack of bugs, right? If you were in this map right now and this thing ran at you, you don't survive. So you need that wall here. You need it. And, you know, as you can see, there's a kill zone that the bugs then enter. The only thing they can fight is the wall. They cannot reach the flame turrets. So these guys get to fire with impunity onto the bugs, killing them off. And what's the most damage that these guys have done? They've killed off a wall that can be replaced. And that's the trade-off here, you know. Defense is not sexy, but it's vital. And I say this to everybody, like whenever I captain a game, like, get on defense. I will commend you. I will pick you every single day of the week. If you're the guy that is, or person that is willing to build the wall, help stick down like these little pipe segments so that when we get flamers, they're ready to go in. You are a legend, and I will pick you every single time. Every time there's a game, I will play you. Because, let's be honest, the builder nerds will always build. And they will always be nerds. I don't think we're going to get to robots this game. Yeah. When it goes up onto YouTube, it will go up with the full name. I stick to the same title because I think it's just easier for people to spot. I haven't checked, but Factorio might have some really big streamers up at the moment, like Nephrums, like anti-elites and stuff, and so I tend not to change my my title of the thing, because it can get lost. Yeah, there's a couple of big streamers up at the moment, so I will, when we get to the grand final and stuff, we'll change it up, but it's consistency from me. It's always got like that little star next to it, and it's always just bite battles, and then whatever it is, the game itself, but yeah, we're like 3rd or 4th. When did rules ever apply to me? I mean, they do. Of course rules apply to you. Right, let's take stock of the game, because it's fast evolving. Neuro is expanding the wall. We have a really large defensive box now for the south, for the north. The south have got some problems here. There's a menacing wave of bugs sat right next to Pavev's base. I would be sweating buckets right now. Any moment now, these things can become aggressive and start to hammer your base. The north have now been pushed over the 50% mark, meaning that the bugs will have evolved from mediums to large. This is a huge, huge problem for the north, and over time we will see less and less of these small bugs appear, and we will see more and more of these large blue-shelled bugs appear. We need to kill a few of them off first, but in time we're going to bump into something that is virtually unkillable with the technology you have at the moment. You'll need poison capsules, or you'll need a closed wall with defenders as well. So yeah, it's not long now till we'll see one of those blue bugs spawn in. Here we go. And before we know it, an entire wave of blue bugs will eventually spawn in. So yeah, the north are doing well here, handling the pressure. The south, I feel like, is scrambling, but the south aren't far off experiencing their own big bugs. And it's a significant turning point. If you do not have defenses down by the time the big bugs come in, which a lot of the time is at the 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 mark, you are in trouble. You are in big trouble, and you need help. Now, I don't mean like, you know, it's not GG or anything, but South have more. That one player is all the difference. I'm going to be honest. I mean, you can get away with. We had some games. So on my YouTube channel, we had some players challenge our entire server, and I think the biggest discrepancy we had was like 7 versus 67. The tournament has just started. I will be posting all of the games up onto YouTube, so you can follow back at your own time. All the videos will basically just be a VOD of here we go. Yeah, all of the there it is. Copy. If you head to this channel, that is the last game that was played. That's the first game, sorry, that was played. But if you head to that channel, hit subscribe if you want to. You don't need to. You'll be able to follow the tournament as we go. And what I try and do is I put chapters in there so you can kind of skip to the areas of the game that you want to watch. As I spoke about earlier on, you'll see lots of blue bugs coming in. And Manitob 444, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you, man. Hope you guys are having a good weekend, by the way. I haven't said that enough, but I do hope you're all staying warm if it's cold by you. It's going to be a good weekend. 2 games on the bounce. A normal game today, an ITYTD game tomorrow. So we're going to have a 1 to 2 hour game today, and a potentially 2.5 to 3 hour game tomorrow. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. let's check in on our technology for now, right? So do we have blue science coming in? We do. Some blue science is being chucked into labs for the north. They're going for flammables, they're going for some physical projectile, and these are the technology upgrades you need in order to stay in the fight. So some damage, stronger explosives, very good. Meanwhile, the south are just a little bit. Still produced. You need lots. You need a ton of steel. Like, purple is so steel heavy, and it's a lovely level to hit, but you need a ton of it. If anything, what you can do is you can send a player off at the beginning of the game to just build a huge steel mill. You know, just be like, put it in boxes, give me thousands of steel, so that when we get to this point in the game, I can just grab them. Are they still here? That is so lucky for Pavev. Like, why haven't they gone for this? I would run at this. Before they evolve anymore, I'd run at this and kill this off. Holy shit. That's dangerous. They're just milling about, loitering around the main base area. Terrible. Meanwhile, the south are continuing to fight on. Both teams are not looking at large amounts of bugs. Only 3,000 on the south. Or 2,700 on the north, 2,800 on the south. Non-SA. I'm guessing that stands for Space Age? I might be wrong. Like the DLC. We have yet to, we've yet to implement Space Age stuff in. Oh, the bugs are through. Damn. However, I do believe that we have machinations inside of the Bite Battles community to try and implement some of Space Age. It is, however, a nightmare to code. And this is all volunteer stuff. So this is all based off of volunteer work. So, you know, nobody gets paid here, basically. It's all done for the love of the game. So I believe that it's being worked on. However, most people have full-time jobs and families and stuff. So when it does kick in, it'll be amazing. I'd love to have different planets that we could play on. Imagine that. You know, instead of rolling a map, you roll a planet, and then that planet has certain bugs and certain, that'd be so cool. However, what we have at the moment is awesome as well. So for any of you guys that would love for that to happen, yes, we'll try and make it happen. But for now, you're just going to have to bear with vanilla. Vanilla Biter Battles. Which in its own right is a pretty cool thing, you know. If somebody had told me a couple of years ago that I'd be casting something like this, I'd have laughed at you. But it's different every time. It's very intriguing to kind of follow the flow of a game. The different build styles, the different kind of pressure points, the different philosophies of how you win. And that's why this tournament is going to be a really good one to follow on and follow to watch. I'm not saying it because I'm one of the main casters. There are people currently playing in the tournament that you can watch as well. But eventually there'll be a grand final, there'll be a grand finalist, and they'll have like a route through. You know, we'll be able to see kind of, just how they managed to get the job done, how they managed to become the best captain on the server that's not called Ghosty. Had to add that one in there just at the end. There is, Mike, if you... Now, I'll get the link for you. There might be a link in my bio, but bear with me for a second, and I will see if I can get this. No? Hang on a second, 1 sec. It might be in my bio real quick. Underneath the Twitch thing. If it's not, here we go. That's right. It is going up into chat now. That is our Discord. I'll see if I can pin that. In fact, that's such a useful... Dude, okay, I need to make a confession here, guys. I'm not a very good streamer. I'm streaming, I'm not very good. So let me pin that comment real quick so other people can find it. Here we have loads of different content up there. So there's like a learning section where you can learn builds. Obviously, ask as many questions as you want. Seriously, there's no wrong answer. There's no bad question, sorry. You know, the community is massively helpful. We're hugely multilingual, multinational. Ncling, one of the captains, is currently playing from like Malaysia, I think it is. So one of the captains is playing. It's like 5 in the morning from where he's at the moment. So the tournament is based off of 16 of the strongest captains that volunteered to captain, and they are then seeded into brackets basically. So the captains will pick from normal players. So as a player yourself, Swistu, you could actually be here and play in the game yourself. You could be picked to play. There's no prerequisite condition. Now we love our stats, and I love my stats. So let me throw out something to you real quick as well. If you head over to this website, and I might be overloading you with information here, but if you head over to this website, that will give you a breakdown of who's in the game right now, what their MMR is, what their win-loss percentage is. You can Google effectively players to see who they are, who they play with well, who beats them often. So you as a player, the moment you land in the server, like Eagles just landed in the server, he has 73 days playtime. His rank is number 81. So every time you play in this game, you're being your data is being recorded, and you as a player will have like a data set on you that we know. So like I can tell you that Jimmy 50's quick. Yeah, 83 days. 83 days. I kid you not. When I say that this is a very niche, very cool little game mode, I mean people are on this. I'm surprised it's not bigger, but I can see why this isn't, why we don't have thousands and thousands of people watching. I'd love to be able to showcase a match, but yeah, you can lose a lot of time playing these games. Sometimes they go on for a long time. Sometimes people just log in to just have a bit of fun and try some builds out. But yeah, check out your stats. One thing I would say is my stats aren't real. I haven't played in a long time, so they are skewed. And some of these stats that have been recorded are recently being recorded. So my historical data of my 8-game win streak as captain is not there in the database, which is a shame. They made the website about a month after that, which sucks because I don't have that glory to kind of rest my laurels on. But it looks to me like the game is stabilizing now. We're seeing a lot more blue biters on both sides. 69% win rate, very good. Nice. Both teams now employing cars as part of their defensive effort. So the car's obviously quite quick. You can kite the bugs around whilst throwing grenades, and they're doing a good job of just fighting these guys back. So yeah, sorry, to answer your question about earlier on, these games you can play in, number one. Number two, these games run all day, every day, all throughout the week. So there's normal games you can just jump into to learn the game itself. These are a lot more organized. If you go onto Discord, you'll see that we have lots of different Discord channels, and everyone's going to be in their respective channel talking to their team and trying to figure out, who's going to do what and who's going to... Oh damn, is that the first purple send? Sorry, I'm waffling a little bit here, but yeah, that is. So the north have sent 141 purple, the south have 21, so we're at the purple stage. And we're less than an hour in, that's so fast. That's ridiculously fast. We lost an outpost, in fact we lost both outposts out here. No we didn't, we assumed them in, we assumed them into our build. So the purple race is now on. Now it's just a case of who can build more purple in order to get that number up to 90%. And it won't take long. That will not take long at all. And where do we go from here? Like, it's got to be pure defense, right? He is. What a mad lad. By the way, Roombockler streams, by the way, guys, for anybody that doesn't know. And he streams like a player perspective. I don't know if he's streaming these games, because people will stream snipe, so I don't know if this is being currently streamed, but look out for him on Twitch. He's one of the best players on Twitch that plays and streams the game. Some people like to not streams because they hide their playstyle and hide their comms. He's quite open with it, so definitely somebody, if you want to watch somebody play the game mode. I'm quite an explaining kind of streamer, but with him, with how fast he plays, it's normally just gameplay. So if you want to see what it looks like from a player's perspective, 100% check him out. And Califer is, yeah, you're correct. Califer is also live as well, who's currently playing in North. And you'll find them at twitch.tv/Califer Bop. Yeah, check him out. It's definitely worth it. I'm kind of like oh damn, what is going on? Hang on a minute. How long has this been a thing? Somebody let me know. There's no way. One connection? There's no... How the fuck does that even work? So you telling me through one steam pipe connection, you can send steam this far? You can send steam this far? That is filthy. Whose big idea was that? That's wild. I mean, I get it. I'm not complaining, but look at how disgusting that looked. It's incredibly space efficient, by the way. This is really space efficient, but holy crap. Like, what are we looking at here? Steam City, boys. Steam City. It just looks horrendous. This is... I'm not a traditionalist, but this is how you'd normally build power, right? Boilers, 2 steam engines, and you just make it go across. And then when you need more, you build more of that, really. It's not that hard. Yeah, purple's on. And the walls are currently being proliferated on the south as well. The big bugs are starting to make their way through. Again, because they're big, they can chew through walls a bit quicker. They're still manageable with flamers, but as you can see now, the waves are vast. I mean, I think I just need to get behind it, right? This is a new meta, so I have to like relearn a couple of things. But yeah, the South have got some problems here, for sure. Some of their flamers aren't even on. Yeah, these big bucks are causing problems, dude. Holy. And defense is now, sorry, offense has gone out the window now. There's nobody threat farming on either north or south. I don't know if there's loss on distance, mate. I don't know. I genuinely haven't played the game for such a long time. I need to check this stuff. Both teams are having problems though, dude. Both teams. The south probably more so than the north, but they need to replace these walls, definitely. Thicken them up in areas and potentially stick a pattern down. You know, a wall this thick will survive, but any thinner than that, and you're looking at them chewing through. Here we go. Meanwhile, the wave has been triggered. Wu and Pavev. I mean, they're doing a good enough job. Don't lose anything too big. Radar's fine. You can lose a radar. Okay, decent. Well saved. There's still... I don't know how the hell. There's still some absolute nightmare situations going on for the south. I don't know how they haven't managed to repel this. More purples going across. More nightmare energies getting stuck down. The south are now at 68.5%. The north at 67.3%. It's only a matter of time before one of these bases break. And as we can see now, the mixture of blue shells and pink shells are starting to even out. So down the line, we're going to see a lot more blue than pink, and that's where they will just rip through these walls. At the moment, like, each wave that bumps into these walls doesn't necessarily need to break the wall. All it needs to do is break in a little bit. So, you know, if wave number 1 makes it to here, we need wave number 2 to crash a bit deeper, then wave number 3 to crash deeper than that, and then before you know it, wave number 4 gets through the hole, and once wave 4 is through the hole, they can just effectively wipe out anything that's in front of them. So, yeah, we're looking at your defenses needing to absorb, but also be regenerated too. You know, there's some walls down here which the enemies can just walk past. And this is great. It's nice to have a wall down here and to have a wall all the way down to the side. But like when it's one thin, yeah, I'd be worried about this. This is certainly an area that I would, that's slightly anemic to me. That being said though, yeah, the south are dealing with majoritively blue bugs now. 69 very nice %. 2 to 3 thick walls. We'll see here now actually. We'll follow this wave in. The flame turrets will do damage and will kill some of them off. But yeah, they do indeed. They drop landfill if they die near water, I believe. And I think they need to be big or behemoths. I may be wrong at that. It has been a while since I've seen that happen, but I believe if a behemoth biter or a large biter dies near water, yeah, blue and green. And it's starting to get a bit uncomfortable for the south. They are handling this well though. They've got some people working on active defense and they are slowly getting more and more flame turrets down, but the wall is not as thick as it could be. I don't know how they're getting on with their research as well, because remember, it's not about just absorbing defense, right? You need to still push your idea forward. You need to still kind of get your team off the ground. And if purple is just the final play that you're going to make, like how much of it can you make? Like how far are you going into this? And is it having an impact? The South are now behind in that evolutionary race by a couple of percent. The North might just have one extra producer. I know that Rune is producing purple. We'll have some production in here as well. And then one more. No, that's a flame tower builder. That's absolutely fine. That's been discontinued. Yeah, because green does nothing for us now. Yeah, dude. That sucks. It's literally just I think that was a mistake as well. A new player just sent 3 different kinds. Okay, anyway, I'll keep in touch with that. Basically, in a captain's game, just for anybody that doesn't know, the reason why the captain chooses to send at certain times is because you can get certain things to happen at certain times. So, for instance, here we go. We have some bosses spawning on the south. You only really make these plays happen when you get a feel for it, whether the enemy can fight it off or not. Doing it randomly can really hurt your team. So you don't want to just send signs willy-nilly. You need to have like a plan and idea of how you do it. And that's what makes these captains so good at what they're doing. They're juggling so many different things. They're juggling their defense, they're juggling their internal building and technology, and they're juggling an offense as well too. Here we go. Another wave crashing into the wall. And as we can see here, there's not a lot of flame towers. You'd want at least double this. And in terms of a wall, you'd want at least double this. So yeah, this is frightening. Frightening. And again, this wall is so anemic, it will go down. So now we're looking at who will react to this. In my info panel. Oh, this is the threat number. So the bug icon is how evolved they are. And the base number is the amount of people and how much it's increasing per minute. So here we see for the north, it's increasing 1,028 per minute. And the south is 1,085. That's how many new spawns every minute. And that's 72% for the south, 68% for the north. Then they're experiencing roughly the same levels of pain. It's not as if one side is completely harmonious and they haven't got any issues. Like, they have issues up here. I just think they're slightly better placed to defend. And as you can see here, Neuro just slamming down a wall. Slamming down a huge wall, you know. Let's get them to fight through more stuff before they get to our expensive stuff. And again, more flame turrets go down, meaning that you'll double the protection. I just like this better. Like, the South are on a budget. It feels like the South are on a little bit of a budget. I'm just going to change the music up, guys. Is there any particular music you want to hear? If so, let me know. I'm happy to kind of mix things up. Have I done country music before? I don't think I've done country. I will look for a German music playlist for you, Blitz. In fact, you know what, Blitzy? Polish disco. I will put my mind to it. I'll write down. Here we go. One sec. I've got a pen here. German music, Polish disco. Boom. All right. Next stream, I will try and find either of those as a playlist. I don't just want one song. We're listening to lots of Polish disco. We're listening to lots of German music. Yeah, this is budget. And again, these guys are doing really, really well. The way that you repel bugs at this point in the game is you need things like poison capsules and slowdown capsules. You'll see them being used, but to defend against bugs which have bosses in their waves, and these guys are bosses with large health bars above their heads, you need to throw down, see this blue ground? This is poisoned ground. And effectively what this will do, on top of the fire coming into the bugs, will DPS the bugs as they stand in this poison ground. And it comes back to what I was talking about earlier on when it comes to building walls. You want like a pattern in your wall structure in order to confuse the bugs and make them run through an area and take more damage before they get to anything important. So at the moment, you know, they're killing off a wall, the wall is cheap, and the wall can be replaced, and that's great. However, what we don't want them to do is to get so deep into your defensive pattern they can start killing off your flame turrets, because this is a really expensive thing to reproduce. You had it down here before, it's now dead, meaning you need to rebuild it. a wall is the cheapest thing you can use to kind of rebuild. So yeah, the pressure is now back on the north. We're slowly building to a 90% effectively to the next evolutionary stage of the bugs, the final stage, which is behemoths. Waves are chipping into the walls now. They're really starting to kind of burn holes into the wall, and over time, as more waves crash into these walls, as you can see, they'll eventually get through. So now you need to be working on active defense. Your passive defense is fine, it's absorbing the waves, but you actively need to come to these areas and fix these holes, and that's where you might come unstuck. That's where sometimes the wall is either too big, or you're too far away, or you just miss it. Because generally, mentally, it's very difficult to stay with these games sometimes. Luckily, we're not in for a long game today. Sorry, just having a stretch. But yeah, so far from both teams, so good. I can't open that link right now, dude, but I will open that link when I watch the VOD back. Because I'm not entirely sure what you've sent me there. Hopefully it's Polish disco, but you can never be too sure. And the one thing I'm quite lucky of having not been subject to so far is black flags and account warnings and stuff, right? So yeah, but yeah, I like mixing it up, guys. And you know from watching streams in the past, we've had all sorts of music. We had pirate metal, we've had clown music. We had experimental music on. I thought it was kind of cool. The experimental music we had was decent. We had all different kinds of rock. I remember for one of the game endings, we had like Viking metal. That was kind of cool. Like as one bass was being torn to shreds, we just had like Viking metal blasting. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, dude. Techno. Oh, mate. I'd love a bit of techno. In fact, yeah, let's do it. I have 24 hours before the next stream. Trust me, guys, I'm gonna create a playlist, and I'm gonna try and get some German music in there. We'll get some Polish disco in there, and we're gonna get some techno music. And Mike, Mongolian throat singing, if I can find it, it will be played. All I have to do is credit the artist in the bio of the video to avoid. It's like fair use, basically. And again, I want to say this right now. I'm not streaming because I want to make loads of money and have loads of views and have loads of subscribers and stuff. Like, it's just fun. It's my fun thing I do on the weekend. I'd normally be in these games playing them anyway, so this is my way of just chilling out, watching a game, having some fun with you guys. And luckily, this week and for next week and for the next few weeks, we have a lot of really good games coming in. This tournament is going to be a really good way of getting me back into streaming, so I'll probably stream during the week as well. I definitely want to test out this level of smelting and distribution of ore, because there are ways of getting this done. There has to be. Like, I'm 99% sure my way of getting it done is almost perfect, but there might just be one or two things that just need to be fixed on it. You know, sending ore down a line is perfect, and with this throughput it's working, but it's not like 100% efficient. So yeah, there must be a way. Oh, hang on a minute. They're through a little bit to the east. Damn. And again, look how far away this is from the main base. The biters are coming effectively for the silo. They want to kill this off, and when this silo goes down, the game is over, right? And look how far out they're coming. They literally will not just come in a straight line, right? They're not just going to run down the map and just try and fight you, you know, at your front door. They are going to try and sneakily get around your defenses. They're going to try and sneak away. So yes, we will see waves crashing in here at the front door. We will also see waves come round the edges and come in at the sides. We call these side swipes. Side swipes are the #1 way that you can lose a game early, and that is because if you look on the side of the base, the walls are incredibly anemic. Here and here, very thin walls compared to the front door, which is a lot thicker, probably about 2 to 3 times thicker as well. So yeah, we need to stay alive and be cognizant to the fact that if we're not protecting ourselves at all on all areas at all times, we might be in for some trouble here. The north at 75%, the south at 81%. The south are 9% away from experiencing behemoth bugs. That could be a tipping point. That could be potentially a dangerous point in the game. A lovely little wall pattern going down here. You love to see it. Again, without robots, it'll be hard to replicate this, but if you had roboports, you could send this all the way across your base as a blueprint, and that would be fantastic. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water because my throat is going. Oh, my voice is going, and yeah, we are closing in on the game. This is it. You know, we're going to get to 90%, and one team is going to struggle. And it looks to me like the South are slower to the punch. Unless they're saving. They might be saving a lot of signs. But let's have a quick look at production whilst I take a swig of my drink. Yeah, they're being outproduced. They're being massively outproduced. They made their first purple at around about the same time, but it's almost like 2 to 1. The North are doubling. And the South are deciding to research with their purple signs as well, which is very interesting. Apparently some of their purple's been consumed already. I don't know what that's really going to give them. They've gone for their shooting upgrade, which is fine. The North working on lasers, again, a good late game adaptation when it comes to defense. I don't hate it, that's actually okay. The thing that I'd be more nervous about though is the fact that the North are just rapidly outproducing the South. We could be looking at a very, very, very fast end to the game. Oh no! Bogler's base. Okay, so one source of purple production is gone. Cliff's gonna try and swoop in and save this. But if one wave exists here, then another one will be coming in. So it's not as if like this base is now free. Like they'll come back. And what do they bash into? I mean, they'll bump into this. I don't think there's going to be much of a problem down here for them. Meanwhile, another side swipe, thinning out the wall. To the south on the main door, the front of the defense. Yeah, we're going fine here. Yeah, I'm not... What side would I rather be on? Neither right now, because both are putting out fires. Do we have power problems already? No, okay, that's just power for the future. Yeah, this is it. This is the churning, beating heart of the North. If this continues to produce, and they continue to send, the South will be experiencing... Somebody enabled spawn item permission? What? Where? Somebody typing in console commands? Oh, okay, no, okay, yeah, an admin did. I was worried about that for a second. Some random player typing in like, end game. Explode silo, brilliant. So, there's not a huge amount to talk about in a game like this. In the longer format of the game mode, the longer versions of the game, we will normally get to rocket silos, sending rockets into space, receiving back white signs. For this particular game mode, it looks to me like both teams are trying to rush purple and then rush purple into the 90%. The waves now are majoritively blue. There are no longer those medium bugs kicking around anymore. Eventually all of the wave will be blue biters, which again, harder to kill, they kill things faster. Now the South are doing a good job here. They've managed to get some capsules down and they've got poison as well as slow, meaning that the bugs are going to slowly but surely, as you can see now, DPS down onto the wall, and that's how you kill off an entire wave. North are going for... I know, dude. It's weird, isn't it? Because for me, in my own mind, in my own internal kind of workings and thinkings of the game, you get the South to 90 and you just keep pushing, knowing that their base will break before you have any struggles or troubles. That being said though, we're 1% away from the South from that happening. You know, meanwhile we're 13% away from the north, for happening from the north. So like, there's no way the south go into yellow, right? That would be ludicrous. To try and build yellow here now, that would be either game winning or absolutely game losing. And I just don't see it happening. Let's just make sure nobody pulls anything up. So, yeah, 0.9% away. Jesus. The North have just outproduced. That's the key kind of crux of this, right? And fair enough, if the South want to kind of research some defensive tech, you're going to need it, but look at the bosses just hanging about. There have been some balancing changes, most notably through our mutagen factors. I believe that this got cleaned up a little bit. I'm not a developer, so I couldn't tell you exactly, you know, the precise numbers, but there was some slight imbalances between the different levels of science that we could send. I believe that got kind of brought into line. And the bugs themselves have also been brought into line. So there used to be a bug in the bugs where they would have like 100% resurrection rate. They are, however, they scale horribly higher than vanilla. So whilst these bugs are similar to vanilla, once we go over the 100% mark to like 200, 300, 400, 500%, they become way beyond anything the normal game has to offer. And the AI, the encoded AI into these particular bugs are different. One thing I would say is there is a worse AI out there. And when I say worse, I mean like it's horrible to play against. Have I told you guys about this? I might just quickly tell you before we get... Oh, we've hit the 90% mark, so we will see some behemoths. So a big green bug might appear. But yeah, dude, there is a version. We played against... I think it was Ragnarok's AI model that we played against about a year ago, maybe even more than a year ago now. And it was horrendous. It was like playing one of... Oh, here we go. These green bugs, guys, are as big as they get, but they can get bigger and stronger. But behemoths are... They're on the board. Yeah, we played against this AI model that kicked our ass. It was like playing one of those chess computers. The moment you made a move, it made a counter move and beat you. And it was just smart, mate. It was like it had wall hacks. It could see the whole map. It knew what we were planning on doing. Here's a sideswipe for anybody that hasn't seen one before. There'll be many of them. And that computer absolutely handled us. I've only ever played it twice. Both times we played it, we had to dial it back and it still kicked the absolute shit out of us. And every single player was on one side, so we had like 50 people on south, nobody on north, and it just... I wish I recorded that game. Like, it was horrible. When you get beaten by a computer like that, you want to watch it back and figure out what the hell was going on. But just to put into some context, whilst we do wait for the evolutionary state to kick in and for some of these waves to become mostly green, I'll use an example of like a small area of the map and try and explain to you what it was doing to us. Because it felt like this thing had like, yeah, 5,000 IQ. It was unreal. So let me find an area of the map. Let's find an outpost. This is my base. And I'm playing the Nightmare AI. Let's just bear with me on this. We're not, but let's just say this is my base. All of my stuff has not been flattened, and all of my stuff is up and smelting. I've been here for 5 minutes, and the bugs have sent one wave to me, and that wave came like this, right? I'm going to tell a story here, because this is important. Okay, so wave number 1. Very standard issue, very normal. Wave number 1, just ran at my base. I killed them off. Not a problem. So I'm sat there going, right, that's 5 minutes into the game. I can now continue on building, so it doesn't really matter what happens next because I can just fight them off again. I then expand my base with a blueprint, and I then expand my power blueprint out as well. The computer notices that I'm expanding my base, and instead of sending a wave here where it last previously failed, understanding that in this area, for instance, is my new production block, and up here is my power, it then sent 2 waves, one at my power and one at my production from different angles. It literally forced me to choose whether I wanted to keep my power up or keep my production block. And it did it in such a way where my character model had to run the furthest it possibly could to make it to one of those decisions, whilst the other wave destroyed my other side of the base. And that's why it started. It started like that. It ended with me having a relatively decent base with a couple of different players, right? So we built our base out. Let me get my drawing tools back up. So let's say we built our base out. Oh, don't need that. Into like this area, let's just say. And power is top left. It would send a wave across underneath. It never sends stuff underneath. Like, you'll get side swipes, right? But it would literally send a wave around my power to not attack my power. It then simultaneously sent a wave into my power to kill that off. It then sent a wave into my production. Meanwhile, a third wave was ready to go onto my production area and a fourth wave to slam in. And it was timed fucking perfectly. It was like, I can't explain it to you, but the worst possible thing to happen to me happened at the worst possible time, and I had no chance of defending it. It was impossible. There was nothing I could do. And if I had 10 more players on my team, there's nothing we could have done. It just picked the perfect time. It lined up all of the stars, and it just sent one uppercut into a jab, into a roundhouse kick, into an elbow, into another uppercut. And then before you know it, you're in the middle of the rubble of your base that 2 minutes ago was a base. And you're thinking, what the fuck just happened? And I believe it wasn't sending waves in, it was pathing them and timing the paths correctly. And I want to play against that again, but I don't, in many ways, want to experience anything like that again. It was frightening. It learned as well. It was weird. Like, let's say for instance here, right? Sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, but we are nearing the end of the game, so I just want to, I'll catch the end obviously, but you know, it learnt that we had really strong defenses in this area, right? And so what it would do is it would make sure that it avoided that area at all costs. And instead it would start smashing areas which it would read basically what it saw and then make determinations based on risk, whether or not it was worth coming back here or it was worth just hammering a different area. And the moment that we made that area strong again, let's say for instance we made this area strong, it would just keep probing in to try and find a weakness, to the point where it would even go out and around our defenses. It was wild, mate. I might talk to some of the guys in the community to see if we can set up another game like that, because that was horrible. I'll stream it, but I'm not going to be the same happy, sunny disposition that I am normally, because the pressure is real, dude. It's yeah, horrible. It's the only way I can describe it. It was inevitable. We were going to lose. It was completely inevitable, and there's nothing we could do about it. And you're right, I do need to hydrate. The north and the south, just to sum up now and get away from my previous nightmare games, are both experiencing behemoth biters. The behemoth bugs have green shells, they are enormous, and they are hard to kill. They will eventually get through the walls, and so now it's about defense and actively replacing what you lose. The bugs can still die, obviously, to fire, but the more science that is sent, the stronger they will evolve, beyond the 100% mark, to the point where they will just not take damage from fire anymore. You'll need laser turrets. You know, poison capsules, laser turrets. You'll need the whole shebang in order to get rid of these guys. And the sends keep coming. The sends keep coming. The waves keep running in. Now it's mostly big and behemoths with a few mediums kicking around. Once the mediums die, they will not respawn. And the waves will be mostly behemoths and large bugs. Big bugs, sorry. What am I worried about here for the north? Well, their wall is too big. You know, that's not me having, taken a pop. The wall is far too big. So running from here to here, it'll take fucking ages. And let's be clear, there's nobody in this area. There's nobody here close enough to defend a push. So if the bugs decide, for whatever reason, to come in and around this area, let's just say, for instance, let's take this attack. Let's say we get attacked here, here, and here, as well as a side swipe like that. That eastern area is completely vulnerable. What do I like about it? Well, they have full coverage on their main base. They do have a wall. It's thin, but it's here. It exists. Meanwhile, to the south, it's kind of like Frankenstein's monster. It's a little patchwork. There are gates that go nowhere into walls, you know. It's the theme of the game, I guess you could call it. There are pipe walls, which are really weak compared to normal walls. They are, I think, still producing normal walls. So you could potentially replace them. But yeah. And again, here we go. It's the side of the base. This side has been proliferated into now, and there's nothing here. There's nothing here to defend. 98.2% on the south, 94.9% on the north. We're not comfortable on either side of the game, either side of the coin here, but these behemoths are so hard to kill now. And as you can see, even stood in the middle of a poison capsule, the health bar it's not really shifting, is it? You know, you need multiple people here, you need some flame towers down, which obviously don't exist, now they do, or one or two do. The sends keep coming from the north to the south. We're nearly 100% from the south. There's not. And this is systematic of what will be happening across the board. They need to rebuild these walls when they can. And that's the best thing you can do. Rebuild the walls as you can. Try and have some spare flame turrets to stick down if you can. And just pray, dude. Like, this is tough. It's tough for the north as well. Like, look, they have a behemoth boss in and around. And these guys are like getting multiple flamers hitting them, and as well poison capsules get dropped on them. The boss isn't going anywhere. Look at this. He stood in poison and getting fire thrown onto him, and he's just fine. Full health bar. So if he eventually manages to kill this stuff off, and what you have to remember as well, guys, is there's waves behind them as well. You know, they've got some laser towers. That's great and everything. The laser towers are basic. They don't have maximum upgrades. And they're in spitting distance. And again, if these bugs die here, they will drop landfill. So eventually this gap, this water-based gap they have, will not hold out. To the east, yeah. One single behemoth is causing massive problems for the south. As well as a few behemoths kicking around here still, killing off whatever they see, because it's their house now, you know, they've broken in. Another behemoth boss. Again, I just don't know much about... The pipe walls are terrible, dude. Don't use pipe walls. But the north seem to. Yeah, dude. There's going to be lots of Fs in the next couple of minutes. Holy. But remember to press F to pay respects. If you see somebody go down, it's only natural. Yeah, so we've got some thin walls on the north. We have some no walls on the south. We have some pipe walls as well, which just, yeah, hurt my eyes. The south are dealing with 104% strength bugs. North 96%. Let's take a quick look at who's researching what. Laser upgrades, that's about it. Just laser upgrades. A wall of pipes. So yeah, the research is looking like they're just going into defensive tech. Statistics-wise, the North have built over 1,000 more purple and sent over 1,000 more purple as well, and that really is kind of the tail of the game. The North have somehow managed to gain an advantage and then just convert that advantage. Blitzy's gone down. Remember to report Blitzy next time you see them. The waves are coming in for the North. This is, yeah, this isn't good. And if you lose a lot of this laser turret stuff here as well, like you're in for a world of pain, because this is really expensive. You know, if any of these lasers go down, even just 5 or 6 of them, like, you are losing a very expensive piece of kit, and it's right next to a power block. So potentially the North lose this if they lose their lasers, and then they cannot defend this power block. They may lose power to their base. And we still have a couple like being chipped away on the sides here. Meanwhile, damn, dude, the South are just, they're in a world of pain right now, and it's gonna get worse. This is gonna get so much worse, dude. Holy. I want to be optimistic for them, but yeah, they're still running crude oil through their pipes. Obviously, if you run light oil, it does more damage. Oh, damn it. These shoulders realistically should be at 90 degrees. If you have a 90-degree shoulder, it reduces the impact that a wave has when coming in. Having like a curved wall or a wiggly wall like this is not ideal. Again, they have enough flamers down here to rebuff the attack, But you can see now, like, they're making their way in. They've chewed through like 5 or 6 layers of that wall, and they're not stopping. They're going to break through. So what's good for the South is they have players to react to this. Poison capsules are coming in, and they're making an active effort to defend. But their waves are breaking through, and they're breaking through like once a minute, twice a minute. North, they're just that little bit safer, aren't they? Just that little bit more comfortable. Again, still have some issues, but like these problems are far away from the main base. Even if these bugs make it to the second wall, you kind of consolidate your defense at the back. I believe they do, mate. I believe they've got refined flammables. Yeah, 1 and 2, both teams. So now, I mean, can South get any lasers up? No. Oh, they're broken into. Damn, dude. And it's the pipe wall. Oh, who'd have thought the pipe wall was not indestructible? That is a large incursion into the southern base by the behemoths. This will be a very costly exploratory incursion for the bugs. They're in production as well. They've killed off some flamers. They're in at multiple areas, including here as well. Geez, look at the size of that hole they've made. The South need to defend for their absolute lives here. There's not much going for them, to be honest. Like, once you start losing production, you're kind of like on your knees a little bit. The North, meanwhile, they managed to stabilize. They've just plonked down enormous walls. Furnaces are better than pipes, just saying. If you have to choose, go for furnaces over pipes. Ncling is in a world of hurt here now. His team are crippled. They need absolutely a miracle to happen to them. Effectively, they need some waves to smash into areas that are safe. At the moment, the North are losing people, but the wall is thick enough for them to repel. And as you can see now, they'll chuck a load of poison grenades up here, stack them up. You have a couple of flame towers throwing some flame out onto the bugs. Eventually, but though, look how they're chewing through though, dude. That's kind of unnerving. They're like 2-tapping the wall. And this is like 10, 20 thick, right? So one wave just chews through like 8 layers, 9 layers of a 10-layer wall. I mean, they're lucky they got this down early and it's thick. To me, the South just, it's not thick enough, dude. Like, you'll see now here. This single wave will chew through this wall, 100%. And there's 2 bosses with them too. So how do you deal with this? You know, an hour ago you deal with this. 30 minutes ago you deal with this. At the moment, if you look at the front lines on the South, it's just devastation. Pure devastation. They've run in and absolutely desiccated the area. And I think I'm using that word correctly. If any of you guys are absolute wordsmiths out there, please tell me that desiccation is the right term or use or phrase for something that looks like this. I know it's a cooking term. You can desiccate food. I think you can also desiccate, yeah, like dried it out. Like, these are no longer full of fluid. They are rubble. Yeah, it invokes it. There we go. Somebody knows what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to make a point really badly, but I'm glad you guys kind of get it. This is just rough. And that's the only big word I know. So I'll go back to small words. Yeah, this is rubble. The bugs are in with impunity. There are large chunks of wall missing. There are large chunks of production now missing. This is... I don't want to be rude, dude, but the South are looking like... The balloon has been popped. It's a slow puncture, but the air is seeping out. No, it's a full puncture. The car tires are popped. The doors are fallen off. The airbags have gone off, lads. 2 bosses are on the silo. It might be GG. It probably is GG. As we see the silo tick down. 300, 137 health. GG. It's over. My puncture analogy did not work. But well played, though. That was actually a really good game. And very close, all things considered. You know, 99% for North, 103% for the South. The only real difference here, if we take a quick zoom out, right, it's just defensive ideas. They just built a secondary wall that just fully absorbed all of the pressure. That's literally the only difference. This wall here saved them. Because I believe that if these waves had bumped into, for instance, this area here, we're looking at a very, very different game. So, yeah, dude, congrats to Neuro. Commiserations to Ncling, but a good game nonetheless. You know, a very good game nonetheless. Just for anybody, we will raid somebody. We'll do the predictions. We'll raid somebody. But just to let you know, guys, there will be another game tomorrow that I will be casting. So this is a tournament that we're hosting at the moment. You're currently in the knockout stages of a tournament. Neuro has not been knocked out. Sorry, Ncling has not been knocked out, but he needs to play another person in the losers bracket to make it through. So let me do two things real quick. Let's do our prediction. Thanks for joining me, by the way. I know I don't stream that much, but you know, we're working on it. We're getting there. You know, I'll be streaming a lot more often. So you might have to put up with me and my terrible use of addiction. Alright, guys. The north one. Oh, I was kind of close in the end. 11,000 pot noodles to the north, 10,000 to the south. The north have it today, guys. And thank you for the follow, mate. I appreciate you. D United. Thank you, mate. I'm going to raid somebody right now. Do you guys have any favorite streamers, small streamers you want to raid? I like to do it every week just to pop in and say hi, you know, make somebody's day. So if you know somebody that you like to follow on stream, who can I raid? Oh, you know the big guy. So do you guys know Troopin? He's like a really big content creator, but he's only got 40 viewers at the moment. So I'm going to raid Troopin if that's all right, guys. I will start raiding some of the Bite Battles guys as well, but after a game, sometimes they don't really want to talk. So what we'll do is today we'll raid Troopin, say hello. Let's see if we can get him into Bite Battles. Ask him if he knows anything about it. You know, let's see if we can bring him on board. It might not be his thing, which is fair enough. It's not everybody's thing. But yeah, from me, thank you very much for joining me this weekend, guys. I'll see you tomorrow if you can make tomorrow's game. If not, there'll be another one next week, and I'll be streaming a little bit during the week. So, lads, lasses, everybody on the internet, say hi to Troopin for me. Try and get him into Bite Battles. Let's try and sell him on the idea that there's some big tournament going on that he can get involved in. And yeah, I'll see you at the next one. Enjoy.